Welcome to the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band Pups Concert for 2017. We've been doing this a long time. This is the 38th annual Pups Concert. This afternoon we will explore some standard band repertoire, some rarely heard pieces, and a few premieres of works just completed for our band. One of these premieres is by a former local musician in Fond du Lac, from Fond du Lac. Other music in today's concert share a connection with recent World Series winners and Nobel Peace Prize recipients. The symphonic band opens the concert with a composition originally entitled Fanfare for the New by Hugo Montenegro. It was written for Stan Kenton's LA Neophonic Orchestra in 1965. The LA Neophonic Orchestra was a rather unusual jazz band, as its instrumentation included 4 French horns, 2 piccolos, 2 clarinets, and a bass saxophone, as well as the standard instruments of big band jazz. That instrumentation made it a composition which could be quite compatible with today's modern concert band. In 1975, the title was shortened to simply Fanfare and rearranged for the concert band by John Tattenhorst. So, at this time, please welcome the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band and our conductor, Dale Scheiber. selection is one of the lesser-known works from Broadway. The musical Pearlie is set in an era when the Jim Crow laws still were in effect in the American South. Its focus is on the dynamic traveling preacher Pearlie Victorious Judson, who returns to his small Georgia town hoping to save Big Bethel, the community's church, and emancipate the cotton pickers who work on an oppressive old Captain Cochapee's plantation. Pearlie opened on Broadway on March 15, 1970, and had a 688 performance run. The great African-American actor Ossie Davis wrote the story, and Peter Udall and Gary Geld composed the music. This particular musical may not be very familiar to you. You would, however, recognize many of the named actors who starred in this show on Broadway. People like Melba Moore, Sherman Hemsley, and Cleavon Little as the traveling preacher Pearlie. How do I know the name Cleavon Little?
Cleavon Little was the sheriff of Blazing Saddles.
The songs from the musical presented here this afternoon are Newfangled Preacher Man, He Can Do It, Pearlie, The World Is Coming to a Start, First Thing Monday Morning, and Walk Him Up the Stairs. There will no doubt be times when you will feel like you're sitting in a church revival meeting with the urge to shout, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. This afternoon's guest, so, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get to the music. Mr. Shine of Pearlie, the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band. This afternoon's guest artists are two of the best-known performers in our area. Not only are they a true Wisconsin treasure, they're recognized nationally and internationally as well. They bring with them this afternoon the poetry of Bob Dylan's music, set to contemporary colors, sounds of the symphonic band. The Bob Dylan arrangements you will hear this afternoon have taken quite a global journey, from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to Norway, and finally to Fond du Lac. They were originally arranged for voice and rhythm section, and then they were scored for a big band residing in Norway. Finally, as you'll hear them with a symphonic band this afternoon. All of these arrangements, sung by Janet Planet this afternoon, are world premiere performances, all done by Tom Washatka. As you may recall, last fall, Bob Dylan was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. So please now welcome vocalist Janet Planet and saxophonist Tom Washatka in Bob Dylan's Just Like a Woman.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, early gardeners. What a thrill it is to be here this afternoon with this beautiful group of musicians. Aren't they fantastic? In this gorgeous facility, we're so blessed to be here with you.
Tonight, as I stand inside the rain, everybody knows that baby's gotten close, but lately I see her. Ribbons and her bows have fallen from her curls. She takes just like a woman, and she makes love just like a woman, and she aches just like a woman, but she breaks just like a little girl. Queen Mary, she's my friend. Yes, I believe I will see her again. Nobody has to guess that baby can't be blessed till she sees finally. She's like all the rest, with her fog, amphetamines, and her pearls. Oh, she takes just like a woman, and she makes love just like a woman, and she aches just like a woman, but she breaks just like a little girl. It was raining from the first, and I was dying there at first, so I came in here. And your long time curse hurts, but what's worse is this pain in here. I can't stay in here, and it's clear that I just can't fit. Yes, I believe it's time for us to quit. Oh, when we meet again, introduced as friends, please don't let on that you knew me when I was hungry and it was your world. Oh, you fake just like a woman. Yes, you do, and you make love just like a woman. Then you like a little boy.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, if I take just a moment to kind of give a little subtext to that last arrangement. That, of course, was a classic song written by Bob Dylan, and I believe he wrote it for Janis Joplin. I wanted to sing it so bad because it's such a classic. So for me, I dedicated this to my sister and our relationship together and all the women out there that maybe have some struggles. So that was the foundation for that arrangement.
The idea of doing a Dylan jazz album was introduced to Tom and Janet by an outside source. The subsequent recording of that album was heard by a big band leader in Norway, who commissioned them to write big band arrangements of all the tracks on that CD, titled Janet Planet Sings the Bob Dylan Songbook, Volume 1. In 2016, Janet Planet, let me start that over again. In 2016, Janet Planet, Just Like a Woman, the music of Bob Dylan, Volume 2 was released. That album appeared on the 2017 Grammy ballot. Paying tribute to Woody Guthrie, Janet, Tom, and the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band, Song to Woody.
I'm seeing a world of people and things. Your paupers and peasants and princes and kings. Hey, Woody Guthrie, he wrote you a song. It's tired and it's torn. It looks like it's dying, and it's hardly been born. But I know that you know all the things that I was saying, and many times more. Well, I'm singing you this song, but I can't sing enough. done. Here's to Cisco and Sunny and Lead Belly too. Yeah, to all the good people that travel with you. Here's to the hearts and the hands of the men that come with the dust and are gone with the wind. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I could leave today. Somewhere down the road someday. Well, the very last thing that I want to do is to say I've been hidden some hard traveling too.
Tom and Janet will be returning in the second half. And now the force of nature behind the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band, Mary Arthur.
That's a scary introduction. Time for the first commercial. I just want to make you aware, it's not in the program, but many of you already know that the band now for the last decade has sponsored touring youth groups from Europe through the Blue Lake International Program, the Fine Arts Camp over in Michigan. And this year we are again hosting a band, and it's the GHO band symphonic band from Heidi, Germany. And this is the largest group ever, 59 people. So it means we're looking for about 20 at least host homes. These kids with their chaperones come and they stay with families. They don't have to be fancy homes, they just need to be friendly people who don't mind having some wonderful kids from Europe visiting them for a few nights. They come in on a Monday and they leave on a Thursday, July 17th to 20th. I have some flyers out in the lobby. If you go and look for CDs and stuff during the intermission or afterwards, there are some brochures that tell you more about it. It's a wonderful experience. I've hosted all but one time, and that was the year I had my hip surgery, so I think I was excused. But if you've ever done it, you'll want to do it again. We have people who come back year after year after year to host these kids. So if you're interested in hosting for us, we would really love to have you do it, and you will be richly rewarded by meeting some wonderful people from Europe. So please think about it and pick up a brochure if you're interested. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Did I mention Tom and Janet will be coming back? Second half? Okay. Never know where I am in this. Teleprompters. That's what screws you up, teleprompters. Speaking of returning, it hardly seems as though he was gone long enough to be returning. But we are pleased to have our Director Emeritus, Ray Wiffler, back to conduct our next two selections, Funiculi Funiculana and Washington Grays. As Ray makes his way to the podium, you will notice that he is playing the clarinet in the band this season, as well as guest conducting the next two numbers. It's good to have you back, Ray. Is he out here? No. Good to have you back, Ray. The very familiar and famous melody, Funiculi, I can never say that, was written by Luigi Denza. This melody has been transformed into a delightful set of variations called Funiculi. Why do they keep making me repeat this? Funiculi, Funicula Rhapsody. Following a fanfare introduction, the composition transitions to a tarantella, led by the trombones. Each section of the ensemble gets a turn at interpreting the melody and the dynamics. Polyrhythms give way to a simple, slow, romantic rendering. The listener is returned to the excitement and the vibrancy of the original melody in an effective finale. Although the song was composed in only a few hours, it has remained popular for more than a century. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Whiffler and the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band. And now, a brief message from Denise, our oboist and recording secretary of the board of directors of the band. Denise?
Hi. So now you get your second pitch of the evening. My name is Denise, like you said. I play oboe, and I have in the band for about 15 years now. It's been that long, believe it or not. Yeah, it's been a while. We're really glad you're here with us today, even though the weather is glorious, and we actually deserve some glorious weather for a change. What I'd like to say is that in my daily life, I work for Kohler Company, and not to get into the gruesome details, but I put pictures of toilets on the internet for a living. And there's a Kohler person out there, I see her. But when I'm here, and I'm surrounded by all these wonderful people, I'm a musician. And as musicians, what we like to do is we like to play for you. We like to perform. We like the fabulous music, the great programming, and we love to do this for you. But what we need is your support. Because we're a nonprofit, and we don't really charge for tickets, we need help. We have great sponsors. We have the Fond du Lac Arts Council that helps us out immensely. But it's you. And it doesn't matter what you have or how much you can afford. Something, anything allows us to do this, to do what we love, and to do it for you. So thank you. Thank you for coming. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you, Denise. The band continues now with the Washington Grays, an American march composed by Claudio Dracula in 1861. It is a mainstay of both the parade and concert band march repertoire. Written for the 8th Regiment, New York State Militia, this work has been called a march masterpiece, a band classic, and the prototype of the concert march. Showing the stylistic influence of both German and Italian marches, the march has a marvelous balance of technique and melody in a continuous flow of musical ideas. It dared to break the old formulas, however, because it has no introduction, no break strain, and no stick. Mr. Whitford. right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 10-minute intermission. See you back here in a few minutes. The works of Eric Coates have been a mainstay of England's light concert music. Another way to put it is Eric Coates' music is to England as Leroy Anderson's music is to the United States. The Knightsbridge March is the third movement of his London suite. A year after its publication, and quite by chance, this march was chosen as the signature tune for the BBC's In Town Tonight radio program. Within weeks of the program's debut, 20,000 letters have been received by the BBC requesting the name of that show's signature piece. The march's title is derived from the elegant Knightsbridge section in London, where the Royal Guards, barracks, and stables are situated. John Kakeva's arrangement for the concert band allows the listener a glimpse of the pomp, pageantry, and color associated with the scarlet-coated guardsmen of Buckingham Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage the Fond du Lac Symphonic Band. The Addison Red Line, written by Jeremy Bell, is a train stop for the L in Chicago. Close to Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs, the L brings thousands of people to this historic location to enjoy America's pastime. The excitement and energy of those passing by, going to restaurants or meeting with friends, is an incredibly unique and awesome experience. This composition tries to convey that level of fun, passion, and it attracts people from all over the world and the general busyness of that area. People are arriving to have fun at Wrigleyville, one of Chicago's most popular neighborhoods. As the Chicago Cubs did win the World Series last year, Dale, a Chicago native, thought it would be kind of nice to pay tribute to that long-suffering team, who, if you recall, has not won a World Series in 108 years. Now, some members of the band have suggested we probably need to do this soon, because with the Cubs' history, none of us may be around the next time they go to the World Series. Dale Shank and the Symphonic Band. Now, keeping with the train-like theme, we welcome back Janet Planet and Tom Washatka to perform another one of the Bob Dylan-inspired compositions. This is called It Takes a Lot to Laugh, It Takes a Train to Cry. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Washatka and Janet Planet.
Now the winter time is coming. The windows are filled with frost. I went to tell everybody, but I could not get across. Well, I wanna be your lover, baby. I don't wanna be your boss. Don't say I never warned you when your train gets lost.
cheer for that drummer. Keeping the train going.
And Phil Schmall, our bass player. Nice job, guys. Gentlemen.
Oh, Janet.
Yes, Steve, it's good to see you after all these
It's
years.
been a few years, hasn't it? Back at the old WBJZ days.
That's right.
Yeah. Listen, I have a question for you.
Yes.
We heard earlier about the global journey of these tunes, the journey they've taken the last 6 or 7 years. And I'm wondering if you can tell us, how did this come to land on the stage here at the PAC in Fond du Lac?
I'll talk to you. About a year ago, we were performing some of these Dylan Big Band charts with the Water City Jazz Orchestra in Oshkosh. And Mr. Dale Scheib was in the band as well, playing baritone, saxophone, another saxophone player. Love that. And he heard him, he thought this would be very, very interesting to color, I guess, for the symphonic band this afternoon. And so my husband, Tom Washatka, he was commissioned to put this all together for you today. Also that night, we did a piece by Fond du Lac's very own Mario Friedel. You know that name? He's iconic. And we'll be doing something by him in a little bit as well. Oh, that's right.
If I can just take a moment here, a little bit of shameless fatherly pride, I guess you might call it. Yes, I was playing in the Water City Jazz Band that evening, but that jazz band happens to be run by my son and a good friend of his, Mike Malone. And my son is playing in the group today. And because he was kind of the one that kind of got us to this point, the three of us anyhow, we thought we'd feature him on this tune as well as Tom for just a minute. So.
Okay, for their final selection then this afternoon, Tom and Janet will perform Tom's arrangement of Mario Friedel's Mood for Love.
Just let me take for granted you're alright. I don't know what you think you're trying to prove, my love. Time delays the mood for love. Your eyes delay the mood for love. Most every night you're knocking
supporting live music. Continue to do it, because you know what? You can't download this. You cannot download the energy and the vibration and all this humanity making this great music on stage. I'd like to please ask Mario if he's here. Would you please stand up and take a bow? Mar, are you here? Where is he? Hey, bud. All right, thank you.
Wow, Janet Glennon and Tom Oshaka, ladies and gentlemen. That was worth the price of admission, huh? All right.
Well, before we conclude our last number, I would just like to thank you all for being here to hear this. Obviously, Tom and Janet, the people behind me, without them, none of this could be done. It's kind of fun. I get to stand up here and wave my arms till the music stops, and then they, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's no different than high school drummers. There are so many people in this organization that give so much time to this that I would just feel bad to try and name all of them, but there's a couple that it goes without saying that just some of the stuff that they do for us. Jason Ehlert in the back and John Hall, they do all the setup of all of our chairs and stands, every rehearsal around here. It's terrific. Without them, this would be a huge, huge job. You know, Bob Milanowski and all the drum guys back there, percussion guys taking care of all that equipment. You know, the rest of our board of officers, Joan Perry, who is our president, Mary Arthur, who is our business manager, and our new business manager coming in, Marcia Matthews. None of this would happen without these people. None of it. And I know that there's a bunch more. John Lapine helps moving equipment and all kinds. It just wouldn't happen without all these people. And one of the more important people is Neil Thompson, sitting back here at our soundboard recording. We sure couldn't do it without any of you. I couldn't do it without any of you. So thank you all, and to this group, thank you again for your time, your commitment to our community and to making music. It's terrific. And finally, how about this guy over here? Steve, thank you so much. Steve, along with his wife Lisa, and Steve and Lynn Euchre, and Dick and Mary Weiner, who are 3 sponsors. It's printed on your program. When you see them, thank them. They were the people that made this possible to have Tom and Janet here this afternoon. Thank you all very much. That's all I have.
Dale, thank you for, this is Dale's first concert as the music director of the Lac Symphonic Band. We welcome you, Dale. Okay, just a few comments regarding our final selection. When the hounds of spring are on winter's traces, it's a magical picture of young love and springtime, forms the basis of our final selection in today's concert. Written in traditional 3-part overture form, this lovely song of praise is an attempt to capture the twin elements of the poem, exuberant youthful gaiety and the sweetness of tender love. I'm sure many of us can remember that. It's done in an appropriate musical texture. The poem, which is written out for you in the program, is a recreation of an ancient Greek tragedy, written by a 28-year-old in 1865. It made up an overnight success. It's composed by Alfred Reed, one of the most prolific composers of wind band music in the past 50 years. Hounds of Spring was first performed in May of 1980 by the John L. Foster Secondary School of Symphonic Band of Windsor, Ontario, the school who commissioned the work and conducted by the composer. Ladies and gentlemen, Dale Scheib and the Lac Symphonic Band. Dale Sharp and the Lac Symphonic Band.